welcome to Bad Movie Brothers. I'm Eric.
I'm Chad.
And tonight, we watched Fright Night, Part 2.
Part 2!
Our first ever sequel on Bad Movie Brothers.
Freaking loved it.
You loved it.
I did.
I was not crazy about it.
I loved it.
I liked parts of it. There were parts of it I liked a lot.
See, you're getting there.
You might get me there by the end of this, but let me start by asking you, so had you ever seen Fright Night?
I've not seen this Fright Night.
Oh, okay. So I think Fright Night is great. Love Fright Night.
It looked great from what I assume were shots at the beginning of the movie
yes,
from it.
Some red-tinted, previously on Fright Night
right.
clips at the beginning of the movie. So yeah,
Which I didn't know that's what that was, so the whole first 10 minutes of this movie confounded me.
Well, I would hope the part 2 clued you into that things had happened before.
It did when I looked at the disc. I thought it was Fright Nights with a Z. So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. But then it was just part 2. So it was a little less great at that point.
Right. Well, this is Fright Night 2 from 1989. They did remake Fright Night in, a couple years ago.
I'd say 2011 or 12, something.
With David Tennant, I want to say, and Anton Yelchin.
Yeah.
There is also a Fright Night 2 to that movie.
I did not know that.
But it has nothing to do either with the Fright Night remake, the original Fright Night, or this movie, Fright Night Part 2.
Oh, cool box.
I know. Get a good look at this box. This is a quality VHS box right here.
It is.
It is pretty cool. I'd get this poster.
Mm-hmm.
So Fright Night 2, the sequel to Fright Night. Fright Night was the movie, for those of you at home, that was about Charlie, a high school boy, and his friend who get into trouble when a vampire moves in next door. And they end up recruiting Peter Vincent, who's like the local horror movie host guy, the local Svengoolie, to help them fight the vampire. But of course, he doesn't actually know how to fight vampires. And both horror and hilarity ensue in a, that kind of coming-of-age, young guys, Monster Squad kind of horror movie.
Yep, gotcha.
So we've gone from high school guys monster movie to one of the most overtly sexual movies I've ever seen.
I'll take it.
Like the tone could not be more different.
Super creepy.
It's pretty gross.
Yep.
So this is Fright Night Part 2. This is again the sequel. Charlie is now in college.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to a psychiatrist who convinces him that vampires are not real.
Right.
And that he was part of a shared delusion.
Convinced him for what? Maybe 5 minutes?
For 50 minutes.
Oh.
It is 50 minutes into this movie before we get to just be like, okay, there's vampires again. From Charlie's perspective, for us at home, yeah, about 5 minutes into this movie, not only are there vampires, they're just vampires. There's no like, maybe it's a vampire. Are they just kind of like vampires? They vampires.
That's right.
So now there's vampires. Charlie has kind of a nervous breakdown for the first hour wherein he's worried that he's hallucinating again.
Right.
Then he comes to grips with that there are vampires and that one of them is sexy and he really likes her.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I guess she has started turning him into a vampire. And then he reunites with Peter and they fight the vampires. And also his girlfriend is there.
Yep. That's about it.
Because he's got regular college girlfriend and then sexy vampire girlfriend.
Right.
Sexy vampire girlfriend, complicated plot, folks, is the sister of the vampire from the first movie. She is out for revenge against Charlie and Peter for killing her brother.
Right.
And that is Fright Night 2.
And what's the character's name, main character?
Charlie.
What I'd love for you to do, which I don't think you will,
Okay.
but I could not think about this the entire time I watched this movie.
Okay.
Every time somebody said the word Charlie and like kind of said it in a whiny tone, I thought of that stupid viral video of that kid Charlie with the teeth or whatever, or Charlie bit me, Charlie bit me, and then Charlie. And people say that in this movie just like that 100 times. So you should intersperse that together with the movie. Just saying.
Charlie.
Charlie bit me.
I bet it just happened.
All right.
Yeah, it's so Charlie sucks in this movie.
Charlie, I said that same thing. I said this guy deserves whatever he gets because this dude sucks. He's awful.
Well, and the script is doing him no favors because we have to go through the first hour of this movie. Like, it's fine when you have a movie where it's a character who's lived a normal life and they're like, oh man, I think are these vampires?
Right.
But this whole, he knows there's vampires, but he's denying there's vampires, and it's just really tiresome.
Nothing. It's a nightmare. It's silly.
The only redeeming part of the first half of the movie comes when he stands up the girlfriend, the not hot girlfriend. Well, she's hot too. The not hot vampire girlfriend.
The human girlfriend.
The human girlfriend. And she has to go to the symphony with the weird, creepy stranger werewolf.
Would you happen to have an extra ticket? I'd be more than happy to buy it from you.
I guess you're in luck.
I guess you're right.
But he goes and he's spying on the other vampires, and he eventually realizes he stood her up, and it was one of the funnier things in the movie to me, his realization of standing her up.
Oh my God, Alex!
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, there is good stuff in this movie. I would say this movie's biggest problem is that its tone is all over the place.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Because the original Fright Night is a classic, horror comedy, right? Horror comedy adventure movie. This there are jokes in it, but they are sold so poorly.
Yeah, or they're really creepy.
Yeah, everything is sexed up to 11.
Right.
And the soundtrack is this weird Tangerine Dream synthy nonsense that gives everything this way too serious, way too sexy sheen. I don't remember what the music was like in the original Fright Night.
Wasn't this?
This is something else.
I will say one thing this movie had going for it that you and I can both appreciate.
Yeah.
Some great hair.
Oh, the hair in this movie.
Tremendous hair in this movie.
Well, let's not dither any longer. Let's cut right to the chase.
All right.
For me, this movie is all about the vampires.
Yeah, well, yeah. We got a roller skating vampire. We got a werewolf vampire. We got their assistant guy that eats bugs.
They're up in the stakes from Fright Night 1. There are 4 vampires in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sexy, when you add in sexy lady vampire, who's I guess their vampire boss.
Yeah, coven leader, whatever.
Yeah, although they never have a meeting.
Nope.
There's never a scene where she bosses them around or anything.
I don't even think the roller skating guy speaks.
Right. So there's Belle. Belle is the roller skating vampire.
Really had no idea that was his name.
I only know it from the credits. I don't think anybody ever says it.
Gotcha.
And Belle is the one with the big flock of seagulls haircut.
It was great.
He looks like he either got kicked out of Flock of Seagulls or Culture Club.
And that thing does not move when he's roller skating.
No, he does not talk. He looks like, I don't know about if you did. Did you ever watch Red Dwarf?
No, come on.
Well, for the nerds, he looks like the cat from Red Dwarf became a vampire.
One person just laughed.
And that person should leave a comment below the video. Then you have Louis. Louis is, I guess, is a vampire.
Werewolf vampire?
He sure looks like a werewolf.
Yep, sure does.
Louis, well, I guess he's my second favorite, but I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's super hairy.
What's he from? I've seen him in other things.
Uncle Rico.
Oh, no.
That is Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite as Louis the Vampire.
Yikes.
Yeah. Louis, who, two things I noticed about Louis outside of the ever-present. So is he a werewolf? Because none of the vampires are the same kind of a vampire.
Nope.
There's no like, oh, it's like there's vampires from 4 different movies in this movie. The whole movie he wears a World War II bomber jacket.
Yes, he does.
Which led me to question, so is he like from World War II?
I guess. I don't know.
It's just sort of a neat thing, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he has my favorite gag in the movie, which a dog is barking at him.
Yep.
So he turns and does his monster face at the dog, and the dog freaks out.
I don't think he likes you.
That's cool. I don't like him either.
Scary face.
It's a really scary face.
Go ahead.
All right.
The cat's trying to eat some bread.
Do you just have bread laying out?
No, it's in some like tinfoil.
All right, fair enough.
Well, hold on.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Do you see her?
I do.
The tinfoil package is the bread.
Ah, there we go.
Enjoy.
I did.
Okay, going forward.
Then, he's back.
I'm back.
Then you have Bosworth,
Yeah,
my
This guy.
favorite. Hands down.
this guy.
This guy, it's that guy you have seen in a million things.
Classic villain.
Big, beefy guy. I'm pretty sure he was on the X-Files a bunch.
Yeah.
And he's the bad guy in Cobra.
His chin is amazing.
He's got a face.
Yeah.
And he is having so much fun in this movie.
Yes, he is.
He is.
Because he gets to speak.
He is happy to be there. He's our bug eater guy,
Yeah.
which, another great gag in the movie, peels a moth off the grill of a car, pops it in.
He did that twice. He took one off a light post.
Oh, he
too.
eats a ton of bugs, but just peeling it off the grill of the car,
Yeah,
I
yummy.
thought was particularly gross.
Hydriomena. Nucleofasciata.
Yes.
And we see him like eat a beetle. Like that dude was eating stuff.
Yeah, he
For
was.
sure. Pretty great. So, which leads to this question. Is he a vampire?
No.
You don't
No.
think so? Because I'm with you. Like, he seems like your standard Renfield bug eater guy.
Yeah, he's Renfield. He's the one holding the umbrella for the other vampires, and he's the one checking in on them when they're sleeping and stuff.
I forgot. I missed the umbrella. I know what you're talking about. I didn't add that. But let me point this out to you.
All right.
We're going to jump to the end of the movie here, folks.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to tell you this. All of the vampires die at the end of this movie. Each death is amazing.
His was really good. Renfield's.
Right,
Love it.
and I'm going to get to, number one, let me apologize. I don't think we're going to be putting in clips of the deaths because they're pretty gruesome.
Right.
And I don't think I can put those on TV. But yeah, when Renfield dies, his stomach explodes and thousands of bugs pour out of it.
It was great.
It's great, but that's what made me question if he's a vampire.
Why?
Because that's not, if you're a human, you don't just, your body isn't made up of bugs.
Did I say he was a human?
Well, then what? So he's something new.
Yeah, some mutant.
He'd make a good Ninja Turtle action figure.
Yeah, he would.
Right?
Yeah, he would.
He's got the face for it.
So if we're not counting, like, in your original count, you said 4 vampires. Was he in your original count?
Yeah.
So you're missing one then.
I guess that's true. Well, technically, then I guess there's 6.
Yeah.
Because then we have sexy lady vampire, Regine, I think is her name.
I believe so.
Her whole deal is being sexy.
Yep.
We're going to have to come back to her because she does some bonkers stuff.
On TV, no less.
Right. And then Charlie, so Fright Night 1 is all, as I recall, is all about Charlie and his friend.
Yep.
And I think his friend in Fright Night 1 does get turned into a vampire, but I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, and then he kills him, I think.
Fright Night 2, he has a friend who gets turned into a vampire, but this guy is barely in the movie.
Right.
But it is David Marcus from Star Trek 2.
Yeah, super cool guy.
Right, and square pegs.
Yeah. Yeah.
More square pegs mode in this.
Right.
He gets turned into a vampire.
Cool guy.
And then Charlie more or less gets turned into a vampire by the end.
Uh-huh.
Fights it back off.
With a blanket.
It was like a priest's vestments
Oh, okay.
that Peter stole from a church.
Nice.
Yeah. And so before we get into Regine, because like really you kind of have the 3 Stooges vampires,
Yeah, they do some great stuff.
and then Regine, right?
Yep.
Let's talk about that great stuff because they have a scene in here which redeems the whole movie for me.
The bowling and skating scene.
The bowling scene is so good. It is so good.
Worth it. Worth the watch.
First off, this movie has a bizarre preoccupation with bowling.
Yeah, this is a second bowling scene in this movie.
I can only assume they had the location.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Hardwick wasn't in this thing. There's got to be some other reason.
They had locked down the bowling alley early, and they said, we gotta put a bunch of stuff in the bowling alley.
We'll shoot for days.
Maybe the producers owned the bowling alley. I don't know.
I think they were saying the bowling alley was like the college hangout because a couple times Charlie goes in there. Like he goes in there for pizza and throws up the pizza at one point. He goes in there to bowl. They go in there to bowl.
The vampires go into bowl. I don't know about unnecessarily, but they unnecessarily kill everybody.
That's right.
And then they have the most awesome bowling party I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And they mess with Renfield too, which is great. I liked it.
I loved it. Well, first, they're skating down the lanes and stuff. They're doing all the stuff you've always wanted to do at a bowling alley.
Right.
It's like a montage from like Blank Check or some rich kid movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where they have access to the whole bowling alley. And then, Renfield's waiting at the ball return. Head comes out.
Great. And he was grossed out. I was surprised at that.
Why was he grossed out?
I don't know.
He's surely dealt with much worse than a head.
Right.
Again, he eats bugs off of the front of cars.
Is the kid from Blank Check still an actor, do you think?
That's a good question. This needs to be resolved immediately. But yeah, the bowling alley scene is one for the ages.
Did you hear our competitor's podcast on surf ninjas?
I did. I think calling them our competitors is being generous to us.
That's right, it is.
I did hear the How Did This Get Made of Surf Ninjas. Not my favorite episode.
But it was funny when the kid was there,
That was the best part. And to be honest with you, I almost turned it off early. I was glad that I did not.
Right.
I'm going to be honest. When Jason's not there, it's just not.
You're
not
right.
the same.
You know what? For me, June's got to be there.
Yeah, I like to have all 3 there. It's a disappointment when June's not there, too. But I can get away with 2 out of 3.
Right. Back to Blank Check.
Back to Blank Check. So the main kid is named Brian Bonsall,
Ugh.
is the actor's name.
Double
Oh,
D.
interesting. He was the littlest brother on Family Ties,
Oh.
right? Let's see. It appears that his last movie was in 1994.
Woof.
Yeah, he did. It looks like he did a couple of like real, like kind of direct-to-video type things.
What year was Blank Check?
94. So he's stopped
Okay.
acting about a year after that. That same year, he was in a movie called Father and Scout with Bob Saget.
Eesh.
And I did not know. Oh, he was on Parker Lewis Can't Lose, the Fox
Gotcha.
Television Ferris Bueller ripoff.
Yep.
And I did not know this. At least a few times, he played Alexander, Worf's worthless son, on Star Trek: The Next Generation. So there you go.
By the way, the new Star Trek captain?
Yeah. I'm holding my breath that this new show's ever going to come out, but
Oh, yeah. Ugh. Well,
on CBS All Access. Great.
continuing with Fright
Back
Night 2.
to Fright Night 2. So yeah, the bowling scene is amazing. All of the deaths are amazing.
There was some good effects throughout this movie. I was surprised. They held up.
Which brings up, so in watching this, there's a degree to which it's surprising that we're even talking about this movie. As you will, I try to stay away from movies that are commercially readily available. Really focus on some obscure stuff. Fright Night, you can get Fright Night.
Yep.
You can get the remake, you can get the remake sequel. You cannot get Fright Night 2. Not available.
Oh, this begs the question, good sir. Where did you get it?
I don't know.
All right.
Because this is something I've had in the collection for years because I liked Fright Night so much. I saw Fright Night 2 at, I want to say, a Cheapo Music, a local chain of, music stores.
Local to...
The Twin Cities.
Okay.
I don't want to get more specific. Stalkers. Vampires.
Vampires, exactly.
Right. Bought it, have not watched it, pulled it out.
This is the
for
first time you watched it?
This is the first time. I don't show you movies I've seen before. We experience these together.
Ugh. Karate cop, hot garbage.
I'm not gonna subject you to this alone. The highs and the lows. We'll
Got
share them. But this is a for real movie.
Yeah, it is. For
It
sure.
has, I looked it up, it has far and away the biggest budget of any movie we've ever watched.
All right.
It costs like
it shows.
$8 million
It
to make
shows.
or something.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. It's a real movie. I can tell you the following things. One, the original Fright Night guy had nothing to do with it. So this was directed by the director of It, the TV miniseries of It, and Halloween 3. So a couple of real swings and misses.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of fans of It. I tried to watch it recently.
Does not hold up.
Not so much.
Scary
so
at the time.
But the guy who created Fright Night, he has promised us Fright Night 3.
Of this version or the new version? This version.
This version as a novel.
Oh, thank God.
So we will get to continue these adventures. Well, Roddy McDowall is dead.
Yep.
I don't think we've mentioned, folks, Roddy McDowall is in this movie.
To the unending task of conquering the forces of evil wherever they might appear.
Yeah.
We'll get back to him. But yeah, so it's a for real movie. So Regine, we haven't really talked a lot about Regine. Regine is central to the sexiness of this movie.
Absolutely.
And when I say sexiness with this movie, I almost uniformly mean it as a bad thing.
Okay.
It feels really inappropriate.
Very creepy.
There's a lot of real gross making out in this movie.
Weird kissing.
A lot of real gross making out. Charlie, our hero, we've talked about that he's pretty boring. He's also a pretty big perv.
Yeah, he is, for sure.
Including in his dorm room.
Oh, yeah. Bring it.
The posters he has in his dorm room, they're movie posters. And you would think, especially from the first movie, that these would be like monster movie posters.
No taste, Charlie. No taste.
Women in Prison is the name of one of the movies.
Yep.
And Sex Kittens Go to College is the other movie. So, real A+ there. But Regine's whole plan, she wants revenge for her brother's death. And so plan A is to turn Charlie into a vampire and I guess torture him forever.
Okay.
Plan B is to take Peter's TV show away from him.
Fired? You can't fire me. Fright Night is my show.
Well, not anymore, babe.
Oh, no.
Perfect, no?
Can't you see that is just what she wants? So, Mel, please.
I had assumed at this point she was doing like the vampire, you know.
The whammy?
Yeah, and getting everybody under control. But that stuff was risky for television. Anybody watching would have turned it off.
Right. So he has the standard cheesy Svengoolie monster movie show.
Right.
She shows up and turns it into this weird interpretive dance thing
Performance artist.
that I cannot even begin to describe.
No.
That, yeah, goes out on local television. The best part of the whole thing, which is, one, it's intensely weird.
Uh-huh.
Two, it's on the regular Fright Night set.
Right.
And is still called Fright Night. That's the name of the TV show in the movie.
With Regine.
Three, but the best part is they at one point cut to the crew. And the crew just looks super bored.
Yep. That's what I took that as. They were all mesmerized.
Oh, I took that as like jaded TV crew people.
Well, I mean, you would.
Yeah, I would. Oh, I just heard a laugh from the jaded TV crew in the control room.
You and your kind.
That's right. Super weird. And then, presumably, she does this whole dance. Presumably, it's going to lead into like a werewolf movie?
Yeah, or is it? Are they gonna? I don't know.
Like, you would assume she's not going to do 2 hours of that. You would assume she does that, then they watch the first 10 minutes of a movie, go to commercial, come back, more dancing.
At least she wasn't like, what was that? Dinner in a movie? That's what they should have done.
From TBS.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, like, so it's such a weird plot, and obviously it made me think of Elvira, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was all that for sure.
Well, this isn't Elvira's shtick.
No, yeah, but that had that feel.
But Elvira's more the cheesy jokes and stuff, right? All I'm saying is I can get behind a movie where like the whole movie is about an Elvira type shows up, takes Peter's job, and then Peter's trying to convince everybody she's a vampire.
Okay.
I can get behind that movie.
Better movie, probably.
Yeah, this is not that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and like this is 89, Elvira's pretty popular. It would make sense.
Yeah.
You could probably get Elvira to be in it, do a whole thing. The
She was
other
probably bigger
thing,
than that.
what's that?
I said she was probably bigger than this movie at that time.
Probably. She would certainly say she was bigger.
Ooh.
In any event, this is the other thing, and we forgot this in our count of vampires.
Did we, or did I already know where you're going? No, go ahead. You got it.
Charlie's psychiatrist turns out to be a vampire.
Doesn't make sense because he's around in the daytime, no problem, and all that.
Right.
No, I don't get it. Nope.
And it definitely seems like he's been a vampire.
Oh yeah, like he's in on it.
Right. And he's like been trying to convince, like he's been putting a number on Charlie.
He's also a huge drug pusher. A lot of drugs in that guy's drawer.
I noticed that too. And he's just like rooting through them.
Here you go. Here you go. He's also in a lot of movies.
He's the voice of Pumbaa.
There you go. There's one movie he's in.
Voice of Pumbaa, vampire.
Hakuna Matata at the end of the movie, am I right? Ooh, killed.
It means no worries for the rest of your death.
Whoa.
So he turns out to be a vampire, which is a pretty good twist
Yeah, I wasn't ready for it.
that is handled super poorly.
Real quick, real fast.
He's driving the human girlfriend home, and he's like, oh, and P.S., I'm a vampire. Super dumb. So, but that led me to this other thing. I could also get behind a movie where Charlie has a sexy lady psychiatrist who then turns out to be a vampire who's been, trying to mislead him. This is also not that movie.
No.
This is kind of a kitchen sink movie.
You know what movie I really want to see?
Yeah.
I want to see what leads the insane guy in the insane asylum to get into the insane asylum. Then we follow him until all of a sudden what he knows to be a vampire killer comes in. He helps him out, helps him escape, and then that guy escapes, and we just follow that insane guy around.
We have not talked about Roddy McDowall at all.
I don't care about Roddy McDowall.
He is very unnecessary in this movie, which is a shame because when he's on, I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, he was fine.
It's Roddy McDowall is playing C-3PO, vampire killer, pretty much.
No.
And yeah, he's on to Regine from Jump Street.
Is he though? Because he thinks that they're all playing with the fake teeth and the bowl and all that stuff.
That's a good point. They do go. We're a little all over the place.
That's fine.
That's fine. But yeah, so Roddy does, when he's in full-on vampire believing mode, he does get committed to an insane asylum very briefly and is helped out by a helpful crazy person.
The fearless vampire killer! Oh, you're a star, everybody!
Awesome dude.
Pretty cool dude. A dude who does not look unlike the werewolf vampire in some respects.
Right, yeah. Yep.
In any event, but yes, earlier in the movie, Charlie and Peter go to a vampire theme party.
Smart.
That is both a party with real vampires and a party with people pretending to be vampires.
Let's not get carried away, guys, all right?
But it still has that weird music in it.
Yeah.
I felt like we were in the pool party scene from Made to Order.
That's the same party.
And there's vampires. So yeah, I mean, ultimately they end up beating the vampires, I guess. It's a little disappointing because the vampires are all so great, but the deaths are universally pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the end one went a little bit insano, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, when Regine gets killed, it's a whole lights on fire kind of an affair.
Yeah.
But Louis gets like thrown off of a building, and we watch him turn back to human in midair, and then he splats on the ground and gets like a last like zinger in.
Bullseye, dude.
Yeah, he fell a lot. He fell a couple times.
He did fall a couple of times.
Here's another question for you.
Because he's always Spider-Manning on the sides of buildings.
Yeah, stop it, bro. Stop it. Why did he like breathe fire after the flowers were put in his mouth? I didn't understand this.
Good question. I'm glad you brought this up.
All right.
So in another one of the highlights of the movie, it's right about, so Louis, the werewolf vampire, has been putting the moves on human girlfriend.
Trying.
Half succeeding.
I'll give you that.
Takes her to like a concert and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's working out pretty well for him. But yeah, then there's then Charlie seems to have won human girlfriend back full time. And so there's a big fight with werewolf vampire in the library,
Right.
which is pretty good. Human girlfriend takes a bouquet of roses and shoves it in werewolf vampire's face.
Yeah.
He hates it.
Hates.
You know, we're talking crucifix, holy water, hates it. And then Charlie makes some crack about, well, thank God you just read Dracula.
Roses. If you hadn't read the book.
I would never have known.
So I looked it up.
Okay.
From what I can tell, I've read Dracula a couple of times. I did not remember this. Very briefly, early in the book, there's like a list of things that vampires don't like. One of them is roses.
Why?
I've never heard that before either. And specifically, the thorn of a wild rose, which is not at all what's going on here. But
No.
yeah. So they just throw this incredibly obscure thing into it. And then they act like we all know what's going on.
Yeah, went right over my head. Missed
No
it.
idea. It was very... if I weren't watching it on my computer with Google right over here...
Yep.
And let me tell you, just Googling vampires and roses did not help.
Right.
I had to like pull up like Project Gutenberg of Dracula and do like a search and find for rose.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'm dedicated.
Eh.
Sort of.
Well, then that answers it. But I said, nope.
Right. It doesn't work or make any sense, but that's...
And is that how people speed read? Is that how a speed reader speed reads? The way she... That's not it, right? That's not how it goes.
No, it is... obviously I can't speed read.
Oh, yeah.
But people can. This is one of those ridiculous movie portrayals of speed reading where she has supposedly read Dracula in about, 20 minutes.
Yeah, however long it takes to flip a page and do...
Retained everything on a near photographic level.
Yeah.
She's like Johnny Five.
More input.
Ah.
More input.
Stephanie.
That's not speed reading.
No, that's just looking like a doofus.
Yeah, I thought she was looking for pictures, maybe.
I know somebody wrote something dirty in this somewhere.
That's right.
I jotted a phone number down on one of these. Nothing. But yeah, so that's Fright Night 2.
Part
2. It's got its moments.
Loved it.
I loved parts of it. I felt like a lot of it was really boring.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Like everything with Charlie is really boring.
Charlie!
And he is the hero.
Is he? He sucks.
He does suck. Incidentally, I do want to point out, going back to the awesome video case box.
Yeah, that's a video cassette, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, good sound on that. There we go.
It has 2 taglines on it. The first, "Do you have a taste for terror?" is just stupid.
Yeah, get it out.
The bottom one, "The suckers are back."
That's fine.
That's pretty good.
I wish they would have kept the 2 just fangs. I don't understand why the cross bar is there. Just leave them as fangs.
Oh, I thought they were stakes.
I think they're fangs, bro.
Like, I could go either way on that. Yeah, that's a good call.
All right.
Yeah. You can, if you'd like, we can write a letter to 1989.
Never.
Which, not that we haven't been criticizing this movie for however long at this point.
I said I loved it.
You did. I'm sorry. Is this so would you say, is this your favorite?
No.
Okay. Well, then what are the ranking? Like, what's the tops?
Oh, I don't have a list of all of them. But I would the limo driver one for sure is my favorite.
My Chauffeur.
Okay.
Okay.
And then somewhere up there is the one with Ventura.
Thunderground.
Yeah, and then the I know which one is my least favorite. I don't know. Was Aeon Flux for this? Did we do Aeon Flux?
No, we did Aeon Flux, just the two. Like when we weren't doing this semi-professionally.
Yeah, that's still my least favorite of all time.
Yeah, that one's real bad. Every so often I see a clip for Aeon Flux.
Ugh.
I'd have to put No Retreat, No Surrender near the top.
Okay, yep.
I know that was pretty great. I would probably go My Chauffeur,
Okay.
No Retreat, No Surrender. Then I think this.
Mm-hmm.
Then Fright Night 2.
I might put Made to Order above it.
I'd put Made to Order below. So what's going on?
I loved it. Well, you got to remember there was in comparison.
That's
this
true.
movie stands out.
We can look behind. Let's peek behind the curtain for a second here. Sharp-eyed viewers may have noticed we're taping 2 episodes back to back.
Hot Garbage #1.
Right. We taped Karate Cop before we taped Fright Night. And yes, the difference between the two is enormous.
Yeah, it's like Ultimate Warrior in WWF versus Ultimate Warrior in WCW.
Yeah, it's just like that.
You don't know it, but it's fine. More people got that than the stupid dwarf thing.
Red Dwarf is a classic.
Sure.
Yeah, Karate Cop was garbage. Let's get it out of here.
Hot Garbage.
By comparison, Citizen
Boom.
Kane.
Boom.
Boom. Well, I think that's all I have to say about Fright Night. You got anything?
Let me look.
Okay. We're consulting the notes. We should have note music.
That's on you, man.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, that was Fright Night 2.
You're right.
We'll see you next time. Bad Movie Brothers.
Goodbye.
Bye.